Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the College Sports Talk Show. Last week, we talked about quarterbacks, our top five. We got a lot of feedback from different kinds of people, different kinds of aspects, opinions from pretty much our fan base. I feel like we got to keep on rolling with it, and I feel like today we got to go with running backs. So Nick, if you want to go first, go ahead and give me your top five running backs for the season, not based on
you got to kick it out this time.
overall
I kicked
talent.
It out last time. You go first.
You want me to go first? All right, I'll go
Yeah,
first.
you got it.
I'll go first. All right, dude. At number five, I have to go with my man Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has honestly been playing to the level that he's kind of used to. But the reason I have him, kind of low from what most people would say is mainly because he's third in yards per game. And as far as any other stat, he's not really up there as far as like top five. I mean, he is third in first downs, which is kind of huge for me. Just because he is being able to be that playmaker for the Vikings and kind of relieve Kirk Cousins from having to make plays and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. So, I mean, he's doing what he has to do. But I honestly don't feel like he's doing enough to be in my top three, honestly. At number four, I have
Wait. Dalvin Cook missed like a few games too, though. So that's like
he only missed like 2 games.
His stats are lower.
But well, that's why I didn't base it. I didn't base it so much on overall. So I based it like on yards per game. I based it on yards per carry, that kind of thing.
Right.
The fact that he's still third in yards per game is kind of impressive, but I feel like he would be a lot lower if certain players didn't have the kind of injuries or were on the COVID list that we've seen this year.
Right.
But for number four, I have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is probably one of the top running backs in this league. Like, there's no cap on that. He's fourth in yards, second in yards per carry, second in big plays, which is 20 plus yards gained. So I mean that's kind of huge to me. Yeah. When you're only behind Jonathan Taylor, that kind of says a lot about you as a running back for this year. He's fourth in yards per game, and not to mention he has 36 less carries than the next 1,000-yard rusher for the season.
Yeah.
He's at over 1,000 yards already, and he already has 36 less carries. And I think he's only trailing the next person by like 30 or 40 yards, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, he's behind Dalvin Cook by like, I think it's 50 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not far off.
This one's kind of a curveball, and I know you're probably going to get pissed off at me, which is totally fine. But I have to have my number three as Derrick Henry. I know he's been injured since week 8, but he led the league in yards per game. He's still fourth in touchdowns right now, and he hasn't played since week 8. And he's fifth in yards.
Why do you think I would be pissed off at that?
Because we always have this notion where, you got to be in majority of the games to be a top player, a top 5 player in the league. Dude, this dude is a freaking monster. Honestly, if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have broke the single season record.
Is Derrick Henry doesn't really get hurt like that. So like this is the first time we've actually seen him down, and he has the opportunity to still come back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Titans can stay on the run. So I feel like to keep him on the list is reasonable because he's not like a Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Where like for the past couple seasons, we haven't even really seen if he could stay healthy a whole season.
Right.
He's constantly hurt. So Derrick Henry, he's constantly putting up numbers. He can put the ball in the end zone. He's got the breakaway speed. We haven't really seen him juke people, but he be throwing people across the damn football field. So there's that. He doesn't really have to do all that.
But I just find it amazing that he's only played 8 games and he's still within the top 5 as far as stats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he led everybody in attempts for majority of the season.
Yeah.
So while everybody was still catching up to him yards wise and touchdowns wise, he was still leading everybody in attempts.
Right.
So
I
it makes sense why. But like the Titans, they basically like their whole entire scheme is like run, pass, run. Like they want to run the fuck out the ball. So
right.
if they're running the ball, then there's really nobody to pass to because Julio Jones is always hurt. So Derrick Henry is their rock.
Yeah. And I honestly feel like he would have broke the single season record if he didn't get hurt, which kind of sucks because I mean, there's nothing really going on as far as running backs goes. And that honestly would have been amazing just to see. Like you have
Right.
these receivers, the receivers are doing great. Quarterbacks, there's going to be so many quarterbacks that are going to have 5,000-yard seasons. But as far as running backs, I think Derrick Henry is the man, and that's why I had to have him on my list. I kind of feel bad that he's only number 3 on my list, but it's mainly because he got hurt, so I really can't put him up there, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as number 2, I got to give it to my man Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has been killing it for the Bengals, and a lot of people wrote him off before the season even started. I know so many of my friends that, were doing their fantasy drafts and they were staying away from Joe Mixon. I think the person in my league, he got Joe Mixon, I think in the 3rd or 4th round, maybe 5th round.
Yeah.
And that honestly blew my mind that he was still available.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, he's currently 2nd in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, and 5th in first downs, which again is huge because that Bengals offense is so young. That O-line is not the best O-line, and he's still being able to put up this amount of numbers and production.
Yeah. I feel like drafting Ja'Marr Chase took a lot of pressure off of their offensive line troubles.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of pressure off of Joe Mixon. He didn't have to do so much in the offense.
Yeah, that's totally right.
They can still win some games. Like they're not the contender that they could be because they could be a lot better than they are. But you see the Bengals becoming like a more like promising franchise to look forward to in the future, opposed to what they were when they had Andy Dalton and then they started rebuilding. But now that they got you can see they have their young core and they have the people like the pieces that they're trying to build around. And you can tell Joe Mixon is a big part of that. But
yeah,
it's funny that you got him at number 2, and you were saying before we hopped on the call, you was talking about Najee Harris. He had his bad game last week.
Yep.
Joe Mixon has 3 weeks in a row of only 50 yards in the game.
But that goes to show how much of a monster he's been in the other games.
Right.
Like to still be 2nd in yards and you've had 3 games under 50 yards. Like that's honestly amazing.
I get it, but
no, come on, man. You gotta give him his props.
More help than Najee Harris, though.
You have to give him his. Don't get me wrong. Najee Harris was, up there for me. He honestly was, but he is somewhat inconsistent. I feel like if he was a much more consistent, or even if the Steelers' offense was just better, where they don't have to rely so much on having to throw the ball, where they could, 4th quarter comes, give it to Najee Harris. He'll get 50 yards in the 4th quarter alone. I feel like if that was the case, his numbers would be up there and his production. I watched the games. Don't get me wrong. He's a very talented rookie, but I feel like he didn't have the opportunity to really showcase his ability because the Steelers are always down.
To me, it's like obviously like hypotheticals in football are like the worst aspect of a conversation.
Yeah.
But like if you put Najee Harris in the Bengals offense with Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase.
Oh yeah, he's definitely putting up numbers.
I think he's gonna put up better numbers than Joe Mixon.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but that's where I had that kind of conundrum.
But like that's why I'm like Najee Harris as a rookie, what he's doing is what sticks out to me. Joe Mixon's been in the league.
Yeah, for a few years, yeah.
As like one of those top guys, instead of like Jonathan Taylor, he's only been in the league a couple years and he's number 1 in fucking damn near everything.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, he's been doing what he's doing.
Well, I mean, yeah, Dalvin Cook is always going to be in top 5, always.
Yeah.
You know, Jonathan
I'm
Taylor,
pretty sure they came into the league around the same time.
Dalvin Cook, and Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did. But I don't know. I feel like this year alone, Joe Mixon. I mean, there's definitely been games where the Bengals have been down. They had to, crawl their way out of the hole by passing a lot. And I mean, you see it even games where they're up by 20 points, they're still throwing it.
Yeah.
So the fact that Joe Mixon is still putting up numbers when that offense is such a pass heavy offense, which let's be realistic, they are. They're very pass heavy.
Yeah.
I just find it somewhat impressive for Joe Mixon. Again, so many people wrote him off before the season even started, saying he was going to be a bust this year. Don't draft him high, whatever. Honestly, if anybody got him past the 3rd round, congratulations to you, because you got him for a freaking steal. And especially if you're in a keeper league, keep him. Honestly. My number 1 running back, which this one is just completely obvious, it's Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is on a roll. He's leading that Colts offense. They're more than they're for sure going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. But I feel like without him, that Colts team is nothing. Carson Wentz, he's not the Carson Wentz he used to be in his early days with the Eagles. They don't really have any receivers besides Pittman. T.Y. Hilton's not the receiver that we've been seeing. So Jonathan Taylor is really carrying that team. I mean, he's first in touchdowns, first in yards per carry, and he's first in first downs. He's literally the man. And there's honestly nobody playing better than Jonathan Taylor right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely agree with that. Especially with Derrick Henry going down. I feel like Jonathan Taylor is an easy number 1.
Easy number 1. And even if Derrick Henry was still playing, I'm not saying that Jonathan Taylor was going to be better than Derrick Henry. But I feel like if Derrick Henry was still playing, it would honestly be a competition later on in the season, because Jonathan Taylor, he's catching fire. The dude is getting 150 yards a game. He's scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns a game. The dude's on fire. I don't even know how many touchdowns. I think he has 17 touchdowns.
I don't know about that. I don't think it would even be close.
So you're saying Jonathan Taylor, who currently has 17 touchdowns, and Derrick Henry, who was leading the league in just yards, which honestly, he probably would be up there in touchdowns as well. You're telling me it wouldn't be a battle to see who's number 1 and 2 between them?
No. I think Derrick Henry, if he doesn't get hurt at when he got hurt, it's easy. It's easily Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but
when he got
there's
hurt,
a lot of hypotheticals that goes to it.
He had 937 yards and 10 touchdowns in 8 games, bro.
Right. Again, don't get me wrong. He was a beast. He probably would have broke the record.
Right.
But the way that Jonathan Taylor is playing right now.
Yeah, right
Jonathan
now.
Taylor, the only thing that happened was Jonathan Taylor had a slow start.
All Derrick Henry has to do is keep his regular pace of 117 yards.
But you honestly think the Titans were going to keep that regular pace? They were eventually going to start losing games.
Just because they're losing games don't mean that Derrick Henry's not getting his 100-yard game.
Yeah, because it always happens. You start losing games, and then you start going to the pass heavy. You start going to the passing. You get away from your original game plan that was working, and you're taking away touches now from Derrick Henry. That's honestly what would have happened, realistically. I mean, yeah, granted, you could, ride Derrick Henry to the freaking playoffs.
Yeah.
Probably to the AFC conference game. But eventually somebody was going to stop him.
They only lost 2 games while Derrick Henry was hurt, or while Derrick Henry was healthy. They lost one against Arizona week 1. He rushed for only 58 yards. That was his worst game on the season so far. And then his second loss was against the Jets, where he rushed for 157 yards.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Teams were going to stop him. That's literally the Titans' only offensive player. They have
Right.
Ryan Tannehill, who's not even a top 20 quarterback in the league. Julio
they
Jones,
haven't-
who aged drastically in the last 2 years. Like the Titans literally have nobody.
AJ Brown's a beast.
AJ Brown, he's good. I wouldn't say he's a beast. He's good.
He's not like top 5 receiver, but like you can arguably put him in like the back half of the top 10.
He probably would be number 10.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're going to put him in your top
probably
10,
replace him with a few guys, but like in some people's top 10, he'd be number 10, like 9 or 10. I wouldn't put him in mine, but arguably some people would put him in their top 10.
arguably, he's not in my top 10.
I'm just saying though.
I don't even think he's in my top 20.
I think Derrick Henry for sure is not even or he's way ahead of Jonathan Taylor at this point. Just off of the pace that he was putting up, he would be at what, 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns.
He would be about 1,600 yards right now. Right now, he would be. Realistically, he would be. We're at what? We're going into week 15. There would have been some games where his production would have slowed down and he would have probably rushed for 60, 70, 80 yards. But the 100-yard games, they would have started to slow down, realistically. Because you look at the Titans' schedule, they started facing a lot of difficult teams that were good against the rush. Realistically.
They play after week 8. They played.
So Derrick Henry, he would have slowed down, and that's what I'm saying. It would have been a competition between him and Jonathan Taylor, because Jonathan Taylor.
The only teams they played that was good against the run is probably the Rams and the Patriots.
Right, that's 2 games. I mean, that's significant.
But the other teams have not that great a defense. They got the Saints, the Texans. He literally always rushes for at least 200 yards against the Texans every single season.
Okay, that's one team in the Texans.
Then the Jaguars.
New Orleans would have found a way.
Then the Jaguars, that's another easy 200 right there. Then the Steelers, who've been trash against the run.
TJ Watt would have shut him down.
Stop.
TJ Watt would have shut him down easily.
No.
Easily. And then you just saw what New Orleans did to Tampa.
Yeah, with Mike Evans hurt.
It don't matter.
And Godwin hurt.
It don't matter. Hey, they stopped Tom Brady. Probably one of the greatest players of all time in Tom Brady. And they stopped them. They didn't allow them to even get a field goal.
What are you talking about? You're talking about the Saints?
Yes.
Nah, bruh.
They would have found a way. They would have found a way. They would have found a way to
damn
stop
near don't even count, bro. After fucking Mike Evans and fucking Godwin got hurt, then they have like all backup receivers, bro.
But my point is, they would have found a way to stop Derrick Henry, or at least hold Derrick Henry to less than 100 yards. They would have. But that just goes to my point that him and Jonathan Taylor would have been right there. They would have been right there. That's why Jonathan Taylor right now is in the conversation for MVP. It would have been. It would have been a competition. It would have been.
They ain't got no choice. They have to put him in there because he's had a few great games where he's put up hella fucking touchdowns.
He's had phenomenal games. Come on, man. He's had phenomenal games. Jonathan Taylor, it has been a beast the last 10 games. I just don't
think that he is better than Derrick Henry when Derrick Henry is healthy.
I'm not saying he's better, but I'm saying it would have been a competition. Would Jonathan Taylor have won? No. But it would have at least been a competition to see who the best 2 running backs in the league are. It would have been a lot closer than what you're saying.
I think it might have been close, but I don't think it's within. I don't think Derrick Henry at this point in time has only 1,600 yards.
I do.
I think this season he easily puts up 2,000 yards, especially with the 17 games.
Yeah, with the 17 games, yes, he does get 2,000 plus yards. He does. He probably, realistically, he would have beat the record. Realistically. He was on pace to beat the record.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like if you're going off the pace that he's putting up, that 117 yards a game, it's like it's clear that like he would be at 1,800 yards right now.
Okay. Yes. He would have been between 16. He would have been between 16 and 1,800 yards. Yes, you're right. Yes.
That puts him 300 yards ahead of Jonathan Taylor right now.
Yeah. But my point is that Derrick Henry would have faced teams that adjusted for him. And they would have just loaded the box every single time, especially because Ryan Tannehill cannot throw the ball. He's not a good quarterback.
But when Derrick Henry is there, it takes the weight off of Ryan Tannehill because they have to load the box.
Again, if I'm a team, if I'm any team facing the Titans, I'm loading the box with 7. Easily 7. Right? They could go 3 wide. I got my 3 corners. I got a safety up top. That's all the defense I need to play against the Titans.
Griffin, bro.
That's all the defense I need to play against Titans. That's it. Load the box with 7. Other 4.
You're not giving those receivers enough credit, bro.
Because I don't need to. Because I honestly don't need to.
Why do you think before Derrick Henry got hurt, they only lost 2 games?
Because of Derrick Henry.
Right, because when he's in there, you cannot just load the box. Like just loading the box doesn't do anything for you because then you're leaving.
Because that man, they were loading the box on him. They didn't even care about the receivers. That's why AJ Brown was having good games.
Right. That's why they've only lost 2 games. Because
hold on, that goes to my point. If you're just loading the box, let Tannehill throw the ball. Let him. If I'm any team, I'm letting Tannehill throw that ball all day. As long as I am holding Derrick Henry to less than 100 yards. I hold Derrick Henry to less than 100 yards, we win that game every single time.
Is he still putting up numbers, though, when you're loading the box? You don't think those
against weak teams, yes.
Were loading the box?
But against weak teams, yes.
But
look at his stats. Look at his stats.
Numbers against fucking non-weak teams.
Like who? Because last time I checked, he wasn't.
Let's see. You got Seattle. Seattle's defense is decent. Indianapolis, their defense is decent. Buffalo's defense is decent.
Buffalo's secondary is decent. Let's be realistic.
Their D-line is decent too. Their linebackers aren't bad. But like he put up 182 yards against Seattle. You can't tell me that Seattle's defense is trash.
Seattle's defense isn't the defense that they made their legacy off of.
Not the Legion of Boom, but like their defense is not trash.
Okay, but their defense isn't like amazing. It's a mediocre defense. It's a mediocre defense at best. It is.
Bro, they almost just took out the Rams. What you mean?
Keyword, almost.
Right, but like for them to be mediocre, they're not that mediocre.
Well, let's be honest. The Rams kind of play like shit this past week.
Nah, I don't think so. See,
you're being a Derrick Henry fanatic right now.
I'm not a Derrick Henry fanatic. I'm just saying he puts up numbers against defenses that are going to stack the box against him. Seattle is going to stack the box against him. They also have Jamal Adams, who's going to come down in the box and also play against the run.
Okay.
Then you got Indianapolis. You know they're going to stack the box, and they got fucking what's his name?
Darius Leonard.
Yeah, Darius Leonard. They got him, who's he's crazy.
Yeah, he's
all over the damn place. He ran for 113 against them. The Jets, they're trash. He put up 157 against them.
Mm-hmm.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, trash, 130 against them. Mm-hmm. Buffalo, 143 yards. Buffalo still has a good enough defense to where you would think that they could at least hold him to around 100. but he put up 143 on 20 attempts
Okay, but the Bills
and scored 3
defense,
touchdowns.
the
And
Bills
scored 3
defense,
touchdowns.
the Bills defense is not known for stopping the run. They're not.
They're not known for stopping the run, but they can at least keep you in check.
How if they can't stop the run?
I don't expect 143 yards and 3 touchdowns out of the damn Bills. That's for sure.
Well, let's be honest. The Bills aren't the Bills from last year.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying though, like these are teams that are gonna stack the box against the run.
No, I get
So
what you're saying.
I'm telling you that like them stacking the box against Derrick Henry isn't doing shit.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Because he against Seattle, like I was saying, he did 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, bro. Against motherfuckers that are stacking the box against him.
Again, against a mediocre defense.
Bruh. But you're saying though that he's stacking the box. That
Okay. Put Derrick Henry against the Cowboys defense.
He gonna run on their ass. What you mean?
He's being held to 45 yards max. 45 yards max. Let the whole world know 45 yards max.
Lying, bruh.
Anyways, now it's your turn. Let's hear your list because I cannot wait to hear this.
Number 5, I got Najee Harris.
And honestly, he again, like I said earlier, he would have been on my list had he not been inconsistent.
I feel like Najee Harris I put him at number 5 just based off of potential, really. Because he has the potential. I know like it's not like a list based off potential and it's
right.
What they're doing this season, but I feel like even still this season, he's put up numbers as a rookie with a struggling quarterback, an old ass washed up quarterback.
Yes.
A receiving game that's been inconsistent. Only like their best receiver has been that other rookie tight end, Freiermuth, whatever his name is. Yeah. He's been decent, but other than that, Najee Harris has been the only good player on that offense.
He has.
And as a rookie, for him to put up the numbers that he's putting up without the help around him, if the Steelers can get the quarterback position right in the offseason this season, then I feel like next year he's easily going to be a top 5 player in the league.
I could definitely see him being top 5. Realistically, probably top 7, top 8.
Yeah. And I could see him if he does continue to go down the path that he's going on, because like if we base his stats from this season and he improves, then we could possibly be seeing another like Steelers great running back.
Right. Which they're somewhat known for. I mean, they're known for drafting good offensive players. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. Which, like, obviously, too, you have to think, like, they obviously didn't retain James Conner. They let him go. Le'Veon Bell, they had that whole situation.
Yeah.
So they've had a history lately of not keeping the running backs. So it seems to be their process is they just draft them and then let them walk. Draft them and then let them walk. So, like, if they keep him, then I can see him going down as one of their good running backs in their franchise history.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely need to build around him. Like you said, he does have good potential, high potential to be a top 5 running back. So I feel like if the Steelers build their O-line the way that it used to be, I feel like he could be one of the top running backs for years to come. Honestly,
yeah. But also the Steelers look like they're going down a bad road.
I mean, you never know. Well, I mean, we'll see after this offseason. Honestly,
yeah. Because I've heard some rumors about them trying to let Mike Tomlin go, and I don't really see that happening. But
I mean, how can you let a Hall of Fame coach just go? You know, he's probably in the top 3 best coaches in the league right now.
I don't see the Steelers doing it because they seem like one of the more like patient franchises, and they'll let him like try and rebuild the team. But you know, some of them rumors out there, they be catching your ass off guard. But number 4, I got Austin Eckler.
I knew he was gonna be on your list. I knew it.
I had to put him on my list. He just I feel like for the Chargers offense, he literally does it all.
Yeah.
Like to me, he's a mini Jonathan Taylor, even though he's been in the league longer.
Yeah.
But he's like a mini Jonathan Taylor. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's like, you give him the ball, it could be like a 3rd and 15. He
Yeah.
probably gonna get you that first down. And just like you see his skill set and like his stats, like I feel like his stats don't really wow you. Like he's in that top range of like statistics, but I feel like they don't like jump off the page to you.
Right.
But like what he brings to you on the field, like to me, he's just like a game changer.
No, I totally agree. I mean, he honestly would have been on my list. But in my head, I just have like, I want you to play your role. I want you to play your role as a running back, which, he does do that. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like they just take too many chances with him being a receiver.
Yeah.
Like for him to be a small guy, like, but don't get me wrong. He has been playing amazing. He's top 30 in receptions among all players right now, which
Right.
is impressive, honestly, as a running
Right,
back.
which is crazy because his like running statistics aren't even that far off. I think he's
They're
right
not.
out top 10.
I think, yeah, he's definitely top 10 as far as rushing stats.
Yeah,
Uh,
rushing yards they got him at 11 with 789 yards
yeah.
with
So
10 touchdowns.
just imagine if he was on a different team that actually used a running back as a running back.
Yeah.
Like his numbers would be a lot higher.
Yeah. I also think that he's a large part to why Justin Herbert has been able to progress so fast
Yeah.
as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously him and having like Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen is obviously like a future Hall of Fame type receiver.
Mm.
But to have somebody like Austin Eckler to be able to catch the ball at the backfield and you can hand the ball off to him and he gonna get you yards every time and you can be confident in that, I feel like that takes a lot of the stress out of a young quarterback.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, especially with a young quarterback, you're trying to alleviate as many mistakes as possible. And that's honestly what Austin Eckler does for that Chargers offense. The fact that you could use them literally anywhere as a receiver, as a running back, kind of like just as a distraction to the defense. That literally opens it all up.
And he might fuck around and get you 30 yards off that bitch.
Right, yeah. And that's the thing. I think he's second in yards after catch.
Yeah.
Among like everybody. Like receivers, running backs, like literally everybody. I think he's second in runs yards after catch, which is amazing.
That's what I'm saying though. It's like he's just like, to me, he just stands out as like one of those dynamic players. And like especially too, like a few seasons ago, he literally took the job from Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody thought that like Melvin Gordon was going to be this beast, and like he's not a bad running back.
Nah, he told him get the hell out of there. He said,
"Hey,
go to Denver."
Melvin Gordon still like could produce somewhere, but Austin Eckler was like, "This is my job, bro."
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, he literally deserves to be the running back for the Chargers.
Yeah,
the way that he's been working, he's amazing.
And then let's see, number 3, I got Leonard Fournette.
Oh my God, dude, you're breaking my heart.
Leonard Fournette,
you're
bro.
Breaking my heart.
It's based off of the way that he runs the ball. He's like an old school running back to me.
Yeah.
He's gonna get you those dirty, nasty first downs where you're trying to get through the defensive line. It don't matter who's in front of him, who's squaring up with him. He's going through you. He don't want to juke you out. He don't want to do nothing. He doesn't want to outrun you.
He runs you over.
Going through you.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I like that kind of running back.
Yeah. I feel like his like the same I was saying with Austin Eckler, like his stats don't stand out to you, but just the way that he runs the ball, it just hits different.
Yeah.
He's giving you that old school mentality, that running through your face type shit, Marshawn Lynch type shit.
Yeah. But the difference between him and Marshawn Lynch puts up numbers.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, don't get me wrong. Leonard Fournette is a beast. He is a beast. He fucks around and catches a body,
That's what I'm saying.
but he's not a top 5 running back. And it's honestly insulting that you have him at number 3.
I guess.
It honestly is. Yeah, there's so
I don't
many.
have an issue with it because he's in a pass heavy offense.
That I will give you.
So
I will
for his
give you that.
numbers to be reduced the way they are, it doesn't really like. It's not really like a big deal to me because if you put him in a like on the Cleveland Browns or like if you put him on the Titans or somewhere that where they're trying to run the fuck out the ball,
Yeah.
I feel like he can put up those numbers. He could be 1,000-yard like runner easily.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's not his issue. I feel like he just suffers from being in the pass heavy offense and just the way that he runs the ball stands out to me because there's not a lot of people that do that besides like Derrick Henry.
Right.
And like
I
maybe
totally agree.
Nick Chubb runs through people, but like he's not doing it like Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, again, Leonard Fournette, he's a very good running back, very old school, like you said. I honestly would love to see him on a different team.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that he would easily be up there with, probably the top 3 running backs.
Yeah, and then he did the same thing on the Bucks that Austin Eckler did on the damn Chargers. He came into the Bucks and took the motherfucking starting job.
Yeah, because who was it before? It was Jones, right?
Yeah,
Ronald Jones or something.
Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones. I don't even know who that motherfucker is anymore.
Yeah, he don't even get
who is
touches.
he?
And like before Fournette came in, he wasn't even bad.
Yeah.
But Fournette came in and he just never looked back.
Well, yeah, I mean, we knew who Fournette was back when he was on Jags. We knew how special he was, how talented he was, and like for him to be able to just go to the Bucks, like you said, with a pass-heavy offense and just dominate the way that he's doing, it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah, and then let's see, number 2, I got Jonathan Taylor. I feel like I could just go off on my number 2 and my number 1. I got number 2, Jonathan Taylor. Number 1, Derrick Henry.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that because you already stated why earlier. You already stated why you would have Derrick Henry at your number 1, which again is very respectable. Don't get me wrong. But Jonathan Taylor is the number 1 running back this year.
I can agree, but like to me, like I was saying before, like it just Derrick Henry just stands out to me just the way that he approached those first 8 games and just put up numbers. Obviously, like his touches are there. Like he had, I think it was like double the amount of touches that everybody else had by week 8 or some shit. Like there was some crazy stat like that, but even still, I just feel like he's easily number 1 and Jonathan Taylor's number 2. If Derrick Henry doesn't get hurt, then it's like it's not even a debate.
It's clear as day that he would be number 1. Clear as day. No, I give you that. I give you that. But that Leonard Fournette, man, I don't know. Leonard Fournette.
I like the only person I might take off my list is either actually after that last game with the where the Bucks played the Saints, I might take Leonard Fournette off.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really do shit. After Godwin went out and Evans went out, the whole team kind of folded. And they couldn't get shit going.
Right, yeah.
So when they needed to rely on the run or they needed to put up numbers, because like the game wasn't really out of reach.
It wasn't.
So like they could have continued to run the ball and like do what they needed to do. And it just seemed like they couldn't get it going. Like as soon as those 2 dudes went down, all they needed to do was just stack the box or like just like Tom Brady couldn't orchestrate the offense the way he normally orchestrates the offense.
Right.
And you could just see that. So I could see like after last week, I could take him off that list, but
okay, so
I ain't really mad at it.
Let's say hypothetically you were to take him off your list. Who would you put in that spot?
I feel like I would shift it up. I would put probably Austin Eckler at number 3, Najee at 4, and I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's a number of running backs that have been playing very well this year, realistically. I honestly I would have to put Nick Chubb in there at your number 5, just because he's been playing so well. And he's done it with so many less carries.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. And he missed a few games too.
And he missed a few games. And if we're being realistic, that Cleveland offense is balanced and they don't really rely too much on the run game.
Actually, I feel like I would put Dalvin Cook because I like Dalvin Cook. Even though I'm a Bears fan, I like the way Dalvin Cook plays the game because I like the dual threat running back. I like the running back that's able to catch the ball out the backfield. Like, obviously, like I was saying with Leonard Fournette, like he's like the old school run through your face, but like I'm a huge fan of a running back that can catch the ball.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So his ability to catch a screen out the backfield or become a check down or run a route and still catch the ball and like put up yards is impressive to me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That I mean, that's a good list. I'm not gonna lie. Your list did catch me off guard with the whole, I think your bottom 3 running backs. It did catch me off guard. I honestly did not expect that.
Yeah.
And
hey, lucky I had David Montgomery as an honorable mention.
He honestly could be. I was talking to you about that a couple days ago. The way that he's been playing has been fun. He's carrying that Bears offense. Without him, they'll probably average, I don't know, 120 yards a game as an offense without him.
He's a fucking beast, dude. He's a beast. And like his ability to make people miss immediately after getting the handoff.
Yes.
It's crazy to me because like he literally receives the handoff, boom, and he's instantly two.
Yes.
And making motherfuckers miss right after receiving that. And it's like, dude, like if you were able to get him somebody who can block for him so he's not immediately having to do that, imagine what he could do.
Yeah.
And then also they got fucking Khalil Herbert behind him who put up great numbers while Montgomery was hurt.
No, I totally agree. Montgomery, I honestly, I have so much love for the dude and so much admiration for him because of what he's capable to do on such a shitty Bears offense. Like, if he was anywhere else, he would honestly be top 5. Honestly.
Yeah. I think so, easily.
Yeah, easily. All right, well, that's all the time we have today. That was honestly such a good debate because both of our views were so different. Your list was amazing. My list was honestly better. Not just playing. All right, but for everybody at home, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for more videos, please subscribe and like on YouTube. And if you haven't heard already, we are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us while you're driving or while you're at work, be sure to listen to us on Spotify and just let us know how you like the episodes.
And also, Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas. And if we don't see y'all, Happy New Year. All right, we'll get back to y'all after the New Year. All right, then.